Okay, Proposition 4,
Yeah.
which is related.
Yeah.
Again, okay, this is the one I also learned from Linda Flanagan makes a really, 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 really good argument for this. No more athletic scholarships. Because the parental, and she links it back, what's driving parental craziness often is not, is the fantasy that the kid will somehow get a free pass into college on the basis of their athletic ability.
Which now saves you $350,000
exactly.
potentially if it's the right school.
And that's what's driving the mania. So what you have to do is remove the incentive for the craziness. And also, there's no good argument for athletic scholarships. Like if you think a kid would play well or contribute to your school in some meaningful way, let them in. If they need money, give them financial aid. Why does it have to be segregated in under the category of sporting ability?
But there's been some conferences and leagues that have adopted, like the Patriot League does this, right?
Yeah.
The Ivy League has always been like this, although they have they're even more cutthroat with it's even worse than scholarships that they have.
It's worth Bill.
They have financial aid, they could just pull it away.
No, the Ivy League is the most egregious party on this. The benefits given to, we just went through that Supreme Court case, where they end affirmative action on the grounds that the court said it was impermissible to give any kind of admissions benefit to someone on the basis of their race. Meanwhile, the admissions benefit given to athletes by Harvard University dwarfed the benefit they gave to people on the basis of their race. Dwarfed it. They're like, do you know what if you are someone so Harvard in their admissions process, they have a kind of sorting process, and they end up with a pool of kids who are all, they believe, have the ability to thrive academically at Harvard. But that pool is much larger than their freshman class. And then they do what they call the sort, or the lop or something. And they go through and they pull out kids who they think have, and the 4 criteria for pulling them out is legacy, school contribution, which I think is how rich your parents are, being a member of a minority, and sporting ability. And sporting ability is the biggest of the 4. It's like, if you're in that pool and you're an athlete, your chances of being admitted to Harvard are 83%. If you're a normal person, your chances are 16%. A normal person who's qualified.
But unpack that. Why do they care so much about it? It's because that's what the donors care about.
I don't even think that's true.
They want their schools. They want their schools to be good at these different sports, and that's what gets them excited. I guess. But I'm talking like the big Div 1s.
Yeah.
Like Michigan, Notre Dame, whatever. Like, part of the reason these coaches and then these buyout packages, if it doesn't work for like a year, it's because they're terrified that the donors are going to turn on the school because the football team's not good or the basketball team's not good. That's driving 80% of this, I think.
But that's a separate, I'm quite happy to take D1 basketball and football in the elite programs and just say that's a special case. But that affects a tiny, tiny, tiny fraction of kids going to school. I'm much more concerned about the run-of-the-mill preferences given to athletes at all the other schools in non-D1 glamour sports. It just strikes me as that's feeding this craziness in high school where parents are going nuts and ruining it for everything and making decisions about their kids prematurely, pushing them into areas like, one of the people, there's a book written by a runner, American runner named Lauren Fleshman. She was a world-class middle distance runner. One of the best of her generation. And she wrote this memoir about growing up as a very gifted runner. And she talks at long length about the incredible burden of health problems that female runners have in their late teens and early 20s. I mean, you can imagine, you're talking about people who are chronically underweight. So as a result, they're getting stress fractures and they're getting...
This is gymnasts and figure skaters too. I mean, those
exactly.
are the other two.
It's that phenomenon. Right. And the question is, why on earth would we create a system where we're putting young girls through that kind of physical pressure? And the answer is that it's not the girls who want to starve themselves, whatever. It's the pressure put on them by coaches and parents who have an expectation about what they want their 19-year-old to do. And that's the only way to solve that is just to say, it's over. You can't, your girl could, you can get her into Wesleyan, but it's not going to be because she's the best 3,000-meter runner in the state. You're going to have to have some other reason.
It would be really interesting to see how that changed the incentives of how much people care about how good their kids are at sports if there was no college scholarship kind of prize hanging in the end. But on the other hand, so I'd go the other way. I personally know a bunch of kids who used, their excellence at sports to get into schools that, they wouldn't have gotten into.
Yeah. Well, no. So we're not, Bill. So to be clear.
But how would they pay for it otherwise? So you're saying financial aid, not scholarships.
Yeah. So imagine the following scenario, which is you can't get rid of this, nor do you want to get rid of this altogether. You have a scenario where there's a kid playing at a inner city school who's a really gifted basketball player. Grades are good, but not fantastic. A school sees him and says, if he comes to our school, this will give him a real chance to develop his opportunities. We'll take a chance on him. We'll give him financial aid. I love that. I got no problem with that, right? The issue here is not that kid. The issue is the upper middle class kid. The issue is Varsity Blues. The issue is some actress's daughter in Beverly Hills who's pretending to be a polo player so they can get into USC. Right. That's the corruption that's kind of screwing up the whole system.